I would like to express my respect and admiration to the Baha'i community, which makes the contribution to the British life out of all proportion to its size. The principles of the Baha'i faith are rightly shared and appreciated by many in our different communities. I very much welcome your increased participation in public life and hope you will build on this in the future.
I have known about the Bahá'ís for a long time and have always been interested in their teachings. It seems to me that these teachings, as well as all the rationalistic social religious teachings, aspire to unite into one common religion of all mankind, inasmuch as their teachings keep the principal fundamental ideas of brotherhood, equality, and love, have a great future before them.
Indeed, a great light came to me with the message of Baha'u'llah and Abdul-Baha. It came as all great messages come, at an hour of dire grief and inner conflict and distress. So the seed sank deeply. My youngest daughter finds also great strength and comfort in the teachings of the beloved masters.
I like the Baha'i movement because it reconciles all faiths and teaches the sciences from God as well as religion, and its ideal is peace.
Their writings are a great cry toward peace, reaching beyond all limits of frontiers, above all dissension about rites and dogmas. It is a religion based upon the inner spirit of God, upon the great, not to be overcome verity that God is love, meaning just that. It teaches that all hatreds, intrigues, suspicions, evil words, all aggressive patriotism even, are outside the one essential law of God, and that special beliefs are but surface things, whereas the heart that beats with divine love knows no tribe nor race. There is only one great verity in it: love, the mainspring of every energy, tolerance toward each other, desire of understanding each other, knowing each other, helping each other, forgiving each other. It is Christ's message taken up anew, in the same words almost, but adapted to the 1,000 years and more difference that lies between the year 1 and today. No man could fail to be better because of this book. I commend it to you all. If ever the name of Baha'u'llah or Abdul-Baha comes to your attention, do not put their writings from you. Search out their books, and let their glorious, peace-bringing, love-creating words and lessons sink into your hearts as they have into mine.
40 years ago, in the city of Shiraz, there left childhood and entered puberty a youth that for his singular potency of intellect, for his extraordinary application to study, his profound religious tendencies, his loving nature, for his energy of character, grace of body, and beauty of countenance, awakened admiration and affection in everyone who had occasion to deal with him, and captivated all the love of his teachers and relatives. His style was imaginative and sublime, not like anything human. Thus, to his quality of a most eloquent orator, he added that of an inimitable writer. And while he preached, discussed, and thought in the mosques, in the colleges, in the streets, in his house, everywhere, they were reading aloud his verses, often interrupting with cries of the most ardent admiration. In all of Shiraz they did not speak of anything else but the Bab. Everyone was filled with enthusiasm for him.
The Baha'i faith is a solace to humankind.
I am heartily in accord with the Baha'i movement, in which I have been interested for several years. The religion of peace is the religion we need and always have needed, and in this, Baha'i is more truly the religion of peace than any other.
One of the newest of the great universalist religions, Baha'i, founded in 1863 in Persia, warns us not only to properly regard the relationship between humankind and nature, but also the one between civilization and the environment. Perhaps because its guiding visions were formed during the period of accelerating industrialism, Bahá'í seems to dwell on the spiritual implications of the great transformation to which it bore fresh witness. We cannot segregate the human heart from the environment outside us and say that once one of these is reformed, everything will be improved. Man is organic with the world. His inner life molds the environment and is itself deeply affected by it. The one acts upon the other, and every abiding change in the life of man is the result of these mutual reactions.
The philosophy of Baha'u'llah deserves the best thought we can give it. I take this opportunity to thank you for your kind thought of me, and for the inspiration which even the most cursory reading of Baha'u'llah's life cannot fail to impart. What nobler themes than the good of the world and the happiness of the nations can occupy our lives? The message of universal peace will surely prevail. It is useless to combine or conspire against an idea which has in it potency to create a new earth and a new heaven, and to quicken human beings with a holy passion of service.
The face of him on whom I gazed, I can never forget, though I cannot describe it. Those piercing eyes seemed to read one's very soul. Power and authority sat on that ample brow, while the deep lines on the forehead and the face implied an age which the jet-black hair and beard flowing down in indistinguishable luxuriance, almost to the waist, seemed to belie. No need to ask in whose presence I stood, as I bowed myself before one who is the object of a devotion and love which kings might envy and emperors sign for in vain. A mild, dignified voice bade me to be seated, and then continued, "Praise be to God that thou hast attained. Thou hast come to see a prisoner and an exile. We desire but the good of the world and the happiness of the nations, that all nations should become one in faith and all men as brothers, that the bonds of affection and unity between the sons of men should be strengthened, that the diversity of religion should cease, and the differences of race be annulled. What harm is there in this? Yet so it shall be. These fruitless strifes, these ruinous wars shall pass away, and the most great peace shall come. Let not a man glory in this, that he loves his country. Let him rather glory in this, that he loves his kind."
The Baha'i call for peace comes at a crucial moment in the history of humanity. Peace in the contemporary world is no longer an option, but a necessity. All the leaders and peoples of the world must come to realize this fact and achieve the maturity which the Baha'i faith foresees for the coming of the age of humanity.
I'm all for world peace, and I would sacrifice my own life for this great cause. The Baha'i faith is really suited to the needs of China.
I've heard so much about Abdul-Baha, whom people call an idealist, but I should like to call him a realist, because no idealism, when it is strong and true, exists without the endorsement of realism. There is nothing more real than his words on truth. His words are as simple as the sunlight. Again, like the sunlight, they are universal. No teacher, I think, is more important today than Abdul-Baha.
It is our privilege to have with us, through the kindness and courtesy of our Persian friends, one of the great religious teachers of the world, one of the natural successors of the old Hebrew prophets. He is said sometimes to be the founder of a new religion. He has upward of 3 millions of people following along the lines in which he leads. It is not exactly a new religion, however. The religion of brotherhood, of goodwill, of friendship between men and nations is as old as good thinking and good living may be. It may be said in some sense to be the oldest of religions. Abdul-Baha will surely unite the East and West, for he walks the mystical path with practical feet.
The respect you pay to other world religions, your openness for people who have different opinions, your message of peace for the world we live in, makes you a greatly appreciated partner for us. Stuttgart highly values the activities of the Baha'i community because it participates in the social life of our city in an exemplary manner.
The United Kingdom deeply values the presence of the Baha'i community and the unique contribution you make. The words of your founder, that the earth is but one country and mankind is citizens, have perhaps an even greater resonance in 2007 than ever before. The universal challenges of climate change and its potentially disastrous impact on millions of people across the globe remind us forcefully that we are all fellow citizens of the world, all sharing in its destiny. As we confront these challenges, I have no doubt that you and your fellow Baha'is in other countries have much to contribute to the debate and the pursuit of possible solutions, drawing on the tradition of working for social justice of which Baha'is can rightly be so proud. I warmly commend all that the Baha'i community does for social cohesion and other interfaith relations, which makes such a valuable contribution to our society. Your commitment to tackling discrimination and promoting our shared humanity is particularly important. I hope that this work will become increasingly well known.
When you analyze Chinese culture, you will find that Oriental philosophers do deep self-reflection. The Baha'i movement is a new way of deep self-reflection. Sometimes I ask myself, how will Chinese people treat these teachings? Will Chinese people treat the Baha'i movement seriously? Serious thinkers and people who are committed to a deep reflection on the human mind and spirit, and who are seeking spiritual guidance from God, may wish to learn and understand the value of these new teachings from Baha'u'llah. This new movement not only meets the current needs, but also provides an ideal of the future of mankind. Baha'i teachings are applicable everywhere. It provides the solutions for education, the economy, and social problems. The world needs these teachings, not only China. However, the Chinese people especially need these teachings.
The writings of Baha'u'llah is the most stupendous literature that was ever written. There is no Arabic that even touches the Arabic of Baha'u'llah.
Continue to do what you are doing. Spread these principles of humanity and do not wait for the diplomats. Diplomats alone cannot bring the peace, but it is a great thing that official people begin to talk about these universal peace principles. Take these principles to the diplomats, to the universities and colleges and other schools, and also write about them. It is the people who will bring universal peace.
There is no doubt that your faith's belief in the breaking down of barriers that separate people is a lesson to us all. The importance you place on principles such as social justice and the need to tackle prejudice has stood the test of time. These principles are as vital today as they were a century and a half ago. May I commend also your belief in the value of individual human initiative, the importance of family life, and the need to strengthen communities and to review and advance society as a whole. The principles which the Baha'i community hold dear, in particular unity and also the promotion of social justice, a belief in the importance of family life, and a concern for the environment are of central importance to our society today. The fact that so much work has been carried out to put these values into practice through development projects around the world does great credit to your faith.
This is the true religion of human social good, without dogmas or priests. uniting all men on this small terrestrial globe of ours. I have become a Baha'i. May this religion live and prosper for the good of mankind. This is my most ardent wish.
I like the Baha'i teachings for universal education and universal peace. I like the Baha'i movement, for it is a program to unite religions. Without unity, no man can live in happiness. We are all sent into this world for a purpose, and people are too apt to forget the presence of God and true religion. I wish the Baha'i movement every success in the accomplishment of its high ideals.
I firmly believe that the implementation of the New World Order and the final liberation depend on the achievement of the principles of the Baha'i faith. I am willing to do my best to bring this happiness to our people. The Baha'i faith is profound and focuses on practicing, not publicity. I deeply believe that the Baha'i faith is a medicine for all the conflicts of the world today, the foundation of the construction of a new world, and the standards of personal excellence. If each religion could be like the Baha'i faith, the world would become more peaceful.
At present, China is in great need of this creed because it is not only harmless, but also extremely useful. I think that Baha'u'llah is a prophet. This creed can at least greatly benefit China and every other country. No country is more suitable than China to accept these teachings, because the foundation of Chinese civilization is world peace.
I have followed the Baha'i cause with deep interest ever since my trip to London to the First Races Congress in July 1911, when I heard for the first time of the Baha'i movement and its summary of the principles for peace. I followed it during the war and after the war. The Baha'i teaching is one of the spiritual forces now absolutely necessary to put the spirit first in this battle against material forces. The Baha'i teaching is one of the great instruments for the final victory of the spirit and of humanity. The Baha'i cause is one of the great moral and social forces in all the world today. I am more convinced than ever, with the increasing moral and political crises in the world, we must have greater international coordination. Such a movement as the Baha'i cause, which paves the way for universal organization of peace, is necessary.
I traveled to the United States 5 years ago and gave lectures on world federal government and the peace of the world. It was a time when I was piloting a plane called the New Spirit of China, which crashed. After my rehabilitation from this accident, I realized that I had dedicated the first part of my life before the accident to China. And now I wish to dedicate the second part of my life to the service of God and humanity. So I went back to China for a while, but last year found my way back to the United States. Since coming back to your country again, I have found a belief. This religion, which will be able to achieve the oneness of humanity through the practice of action, and promoting the idea that all the people in the world can be engaged in acts of kindness. Finally, I found a group of sincere people who actually practice their words, not just say them. I agree with all the principles they publicize, and recently I became a Baha'i.